Okay, I want to talk about the identity of Osiris. He is Dionysus, the son of Zeus and Semele. This is proved out in the writings of Diodorus Siculus and several other, but for now we're going to, several other scholars, but we're going to look at the writings from the Library of History of Diodorus Siculus. And let me read to you a very important passage that helped me complete my mythological unification theory. Okay, it says, and of the ancient Greek writers of mythology, some give to Osiris the name Dionysus, or with a slight change in form, Sirius. One of them, Yumpulus in the Bacchic hymn, speaks of our Dionysus shining like a star, with fiery eye in every ray. While Orpheus says, and this is why men call him Shining One and Dionysus. Some say that Osiris is also represented with the cloak of fawn skin about his shoulders as imitating the sky, spangled with the stars. As for Isis, we translated the word means ancient. The name having been given her because her birth was from everlasting and ancient. And they put horns on her head, both because of the appearance which she has to the eye when the moon is crescent shaped, and because among the Egyptians a cow is held sacred to her. These two gods they hold regulate the entire universe, giving both nourishment and increase all things by means of a system of 3 seasons which complete the full cycle through an unobservable movement, these being spring, summer, and winter. And these seasons, though in nature um, most opposed to one another, complete the cycle of all the year in the fullest harmony. So he continues on, and he discusses that sometimes they get things confused and compare Isis and Osiris to Zeus and Hera, but other literature, pretty much confirms what this guy is saying. Now, it's interesting. He says, now the spirit they called, as we translate their expression, Zeus, and since he was the source of the spirit of life in animals, they considered him to be, in a sense, the father of all things. And they say that most renowned of the Greek poets also agrees with this when he speaks of this God as the father of men and of gods. And then the fire they call Hephaestus, and and it is translated holding him to a great god. And then Diodorus Siculus continues on, and he associates the earth with Demeter, sometimes Ge or Gaia, and Oceanus with the water, and the air with Athena. So here we have the elements associated with a god or goddess as well. And he continues on, and he says, Osiris was the first they record to make mankind give up cannibalism, for after Isis had discovered the fruit of both wheat and barley, which grew wild over the land, along with the other plants, but was still unknown to man, and Osiris had also devised the cultivation of these fruits. All men were glad to change their food, both because of the pleasing nature of the newly discovered grains, and because it seemed to their advantage to refrain from their butchery of one another. Now, Demeter also gets the credit for discovering wheat, but she, in other writings, you'll find out that she went to Sicily, whereas Isis and Osiris went to Egypt. And continuing on, Diodorus Siculus says, Osiris, they say, founded in the Egyptian Thebed a city with 100 gates, which the men of his day named after his mother, though later generations called it Diospolis, and some named it Thebes. There is no agreement, however, as to when the city was founded, not only among the historians, but even among the priests of Egypt themselves. Okay, so this 100-gated city is very similar to other gated cities, such as the one of Krishna. It continues on. He built other cities. It says Osiris, they say, was also interested in agriculture and was reared in Nisa, a city of Arabia Felix, near Egypt, being a son of Zeus. And the name which he bears among the Greeks is derived both from his father and from the birthplace, since he's called Dionysus. Mention is also made of Nisa by the poet in his hymns to the effect that it was in the vicinity of Egypt when he says, "There was a certain Nisa, mountain high, with forest thick, in Phoenicia, afar, close to the Egyptus streams. And the discovery of the vine, they say, was made by him near Nisa." Well, I tend to think that this Nisa is Israel, modern day Israel. So he continues on, and Diodorus Siculus talks about how Osiris established his affairs in Egypt, and he turned it over to his wife with the aid of Hermes and Heracles, and then he went on and did some other things, where he went to, well, he definitely was in India and other places and doing campaigns, but he had multiple children with her. And then eventually he was killed by Set, who is Prometheus. And I talk about that in a different video. But in the Diodorus Siculus book, he does specifically say that Prometheus was in Egypt. And I cover that in a different video. But it also says in Diodorus Siculus, he founded not a few cities in India, one of which he named Nisa, wishing to leave there a memorial of that city in Egypt, where he had been reared. He also planted ivy in the Indian Nisa and throughout India. In those countries which border upon it, the plant this day is still to be found only in this region. Okay, I definitely think he's Krishna, and that would be his the lost city of Krishna that's under the water right now. That's said to have had many gates as well. And if we, this is the library of history from Diodorus Siculus, but of an extensive description of the life of Dionysus. Osiris is given in Nonis's Dionysica, and in there he basically tells you the wife of Dionysus is Ariadne, who was the same woman famous for the story of the Minotaur in the labyrinth and helping Theseus to kill her brother. But she ran off with Theseus, and he abandoned her on Naxos, and that's where Dionysus Osiris found her. So that is the identity of Osiris. It's Dionysus, and his wife Isis would be Ariadne from the story of the Minotaur out of Crete. Okay, that's it for now.